What they least expect will test their strength. The scene opens on a young woman, Anna, sitting on the pavement. Her shoulders are slumped. Next to her is a small, intricate wooden box. She looks at it with a mix of exhaustion and frustration. She picks it up, gives it a gentle shake, and sets it back down with a sigh. She closes her eyes and just breathes. The world rushes around her, a blur of motion, but she's completely still. After a moment, her eyes open, and something has changed. The frantic energy is gone. Now, she just looks curious. She picks up the box one last time, not to solve it, but just to look. A small, knowing smile forms on her lips as she turns it over in her hands. Have you ever thought about your breaking point? That invisible line where your strength just runs out and you stop? We became fascinated with this idea. What does it actually take to make someone give up? So, we designed a series of challenges to ambush ordinary people on the street. But here's the secret. Every single one of our challenges was designed to be impossible. We weren't looking for winners. We were looking for that exact moment of failure. We wanted to see what happens when good intentions run into a brick wall they can't break through. We were expecting to find frustration, maybe even some anger, but what we discovered was something else entirely. A hidden, unbreakable strength that most people don't even know they have. A quiet power that doesn't need to roar in victory, but instead stands with dignity in defeat. What we found will change how you see adversity forever. The setup. A. The impossible trials. So, what does an impossible challenge look like? It has to be subtle. It needs to look solvable, even easy at first, to draw you in. We came up with 3. First, we had the sculptor's curse. We took a set of beautiful, smooth river stones that looked perfect for balancing. The challenge was to stack all 10 into a single tower. The secret? We had the top stone secretly weighted on one side with a dense metal insert. It's scientifically impossible to balance. Here, the laws of physics are the real opponent. Second, we created the Echo Box. This is a classic puzzle box covered in symbols and sliders. It looks like something you'd find in an escape room, and we even provided a riddle that seemed to hint at the solution. But the riddle was a red herring. The box itself was a trick. It doesn't open with any combination. The only way in is with a powerful magnet that, of course, we never provided. It's a test of futility. And third, the endless pattern. We set up a tablet with a simple memory game, repeat a sequence of flashing lights. But our software had a hidden rule. If anyone made a single mistake after level 5, the pattern they'd been memorizing would secretly change. They were sent back to a level that made them think they just needed to try again. It's designed to make you question your own mind, to create that feeling of being stuck in an endless loop. The real test wasn't the task. It was what happens when the task fights back unfairly. We set up in a busy city square, laid out our props, and waited. We wanted to find out what people are truly made of when they think no one is judging the outcome. The Gauntlet, a montage of human spirit. Our first participant was Mark, a 3-4-year-old software engineer. He saw the balancing stones and walked right up. "Oh, I love these things," he said, rubbing his hands together. "It's all about finding the center of gravity." He got the first 7 stacked in under a minute, smiling and focused. Then he got to stone number 8. It wobbled. He adjusted. It wobbled again. He tried a different one. Failure. And again. His confident smile slowly faded into a frown of concentration. "This one stone, it just feels wrong," he muttered, baffled but not yet beaten. Next up, Sarah, a 5-year-old graphic designer, was drawn to the Echo Box. Her eyes lit up. "I love puzzles." She followed the riddle's clues, meticulously turning the dials. Nothing. She tried a new interpretation. Nothing. After 20 minutes of trying every combination she could think of, her excitement gave way to a quiet, methodical frustration. "I feel like I'm missing the entire point," she said to herself, tapping the box. "It's like the answer is in a different language." She didn't quit, but you could see her posture change from leaning in with eagerness to leaning back with weary contemplation. Then we met Carlos, a retired schoolteacher in his late 62nd. He chose the tablet game. He was patient, breezing through the first few levels. At level 6, he made his first mistake. The pattern reset and secretly changed. He tried again, his brow furrowed. He failed again. "That's funny," he chuckled. "My memory must be going." He tried again, and again. The chuckle disappeared. He took off his glasses and cleaned them, as if the problem was his vision, not the game. He grew completely silent, trapped in our invisible loop. He wasn't angry, just deeply confused, fighting an enemy he couldn't see. We saw a montage of faces, a student shaking his head at the stones, a woman laughing in disbelief at the puzzle box, a man walking away from the tablet only to turn back for one more try. The air was thick with the effort of ordinary people refusing to be defined by failure. It was the friction of human will against an immovable object. And right there, in that friction, the real story begins. The spotlight story, the Stoic turn. Amidst the struggle, two people really stood out. Their stories became the heart of this whole experiment. First, there was Anna, the young woman from the beginning. She's a two-year-old university student studying philosophy, a detail we learned later that felt incredibly fitting. She approached the echo box with a bright, analytical energy. For the first half hour, she was a whirlwind. She scribbled notes, she mapped out symbols, she tried combinations forwards, backward, and upside down. She was determined to conquer it. But the box, of course, wouldn't open. The moment we saw in the opening was her breaking point. She slumped to the ground, the box beside her. We thought she was done. But then, something amazing happened. She sat up, took that deep breath, and completely changed her approach. She stopped trying to do, and just started to be. She picked up the box, but this time, her fingers weren't searching for a solution. They were just feeling the texture of the wood. I walked over. "How's it going?" I asked. She looked up. That frantic energy totally gone, replaced by a deep calm. "I'm not going to solve it," she said. It wasn't defeat. It was a simple statement of fact. "What makes you say that?" I asked. "Because I've tried everything that makes logical sense," she explained, a small smile on her face. "So the problem isn't my logic. The problem is the box. This challenge, it feels like it's designed to make you fail." She looked right at me. "The test isn't about opening the box, is it? It's about seeing how long you'll try before you realize you can't. It's about figuring out what you can and cannot control." We were floored. She had, with no clues, solved the real puzzle. She reframed the entire experience. The obstacle was no longer an enemy, it was a teacher. She accepted what she couldn't control, the box, and focused on what she could, her perspective. She had instinctively found her inner Stoic. She didn't break, she transcended. Our second spotlight was a man named David, maybe in his early 70s, with a quiet, gentle energy. He was drawn to the impossible stones. Where others brought speed and force, David brought patience. He would pick up a stone, feel its weight, and place it with incredible care. And then the tower would fall. He wouldn't sigh or get upset. He would just watch them tumble, wait for them to settle, and begin again. He did this for nearly an hour. His calm was so unwavering, I had to know what was going on in his mind. I approached him. "You have incredible patience," I said. He looked up with a soft smile. "Patience is all it is," he replied. "There's not much else to bring to it." "It doesn't frustrate you when they fall?" I asked. And then he said something that stopped me in my tracks. "Why would it?" he asked, genuinely curious. "It is the nature of a smooth, round stone to be unstable. It is the nature of gravity to pull it down. I can't be frustrated with nature. My job," he said, picking up a stone, "is just to do my part, to place it as well as I am able. The final result, that part isn't up to me. The effort is mine. The outcome is the world's." David had perfectly articulated one of the most powerful ideas in Stoic philosophy. He understood the difference between what was his and what was not. He couldn't control the physics of the stones, but he could control his intention and his effort. He found peace not in winning, but in the simple, virtuous act of trying. The reflection and the reveal. After they were done, we sat down with Anna and David to reveal the truth. I turned to Anna first. "You were right. The test wasn't about opening the box. I have to confess, it's impossible to open." She burst out laughing, a sound of pure relief. "I knew it. Oh, that's brilliant. So the whole point was just to watch the struggle?" "Exactly," I replied. "And what you did was amazing. You hit a wall, and instead of quitting, you changed how you saw the problem." "Where did that come from?" She thought for a moment. "I guess from my studies. We read the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, and how the obstacle in your path becomes the path. I always thought it was just an abstract idea. But sitting there, staring at that box, I just felt it. I felt that its impossibility was the whole point. It was forcing me to stop trying to impose my will on it and just understand it. In that acceptance, I felt free from the need to win. It was a better feeling than opening it would have been." Then I turned to David. "David, we have to come clean. The reason that top stone wouldn't balance is because we engineered it to be impossible." David just nodded, that same calm smile on his face. "I suspected as much," he said. "Sometimes life gives you tasks like that. Mountains you can't move." He paused, looking at the stones. "You know, when you get to my age, you learn you don't win every battle. You lose people you love. You face illnesses. You see plans fall apart. You learn that fighting reality only brings suffering. The real test is not whether you can move the mountain, but whether you show up with your shovel and do your work with a good heart. The dignity is in the labor, not the triumph." His words hung in the air, filled with the weight of a life fully lived. He'd never formally studied philosophy, but he was a living embodiment of it. The grand conclusion and the takeaway. We started this day wondering, where is the breaking point? We created obstacles designed to make people fail. We thought we'd see the cracks in the human spirit. We were wrong. What we found wasn't weakness. It was a quiet, profound resilience. We learned that the breaking point is a myth. Or maybe it's not a point where we shatter, but a point where we transform. It's the moment we stop asking, "How can I conquer this?" and start asking, "What can this teach me?" The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." We watched that ancient wisdom come to life on a busy city square. We saw it in Anna's moment of clarity and in David's peaceful effort. They reminded us that we have power over our minds, not outside events. Realizing this is where true strength is found. Stoicism isn't about bottling up your emotions. It's about understanding them. It's about reframing frustration as an opportunity for growth. We set out to find people's breaking points. Instead, we found their foundation. A quiet, unbreakable core that doesn't shout in victory but whispers, "Try again," even in the face of certain failure. This strength exists in all of us. It's forged not in our successes, but in how we endure the impossible. It's the wisdom to accept what we cannot change, the courage to change what we can, and the peace that comes from knowing the difference. The challenges in your life are rarely as simple as a puzzle box or a stack of stones. They're messy and often feel impossible, but the strength to face them is already inside you. If this story reminded you of your own inner strength, please share this video with someone who might need to hear it, and subscribe for more journeys into the human spirit. And we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments about a time an impossible challenge taught you something important. Thank you for watching.